This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. The Rivers State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Peter Mede, has announced that the 2025 budget will be higher than the 2024 budget. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire, Dr. Mede explained that the increase is aimed, at creating more jobs to combat unemployment and reduce the impact of inflation in the state. He said that while the state government cannot directly control inflation, its focus is on generating employment in key sectors such as agriculture, health, and education. Please, let's take a listen to him.
The budget of 2025 is going to be about 2 or 3 or 4 trillion billion naira above 2024 year. So if you add that to what we have in 2024, government is having that robust fund that they will be able to use to deliver dividend to the state in terms of creating more jobs. Because people deal with the agri sector and create more jobs, we will be able to deal with our unemployment. So I can assure you that by the time the appropriation bill of 2025 is passed into law, then we are going to come out with a river state that we will create more jobs.
Reacting to the Federal High Court ruling, which annulled the 800 billion naira budget passed by 5 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Edison Ehi, Dr. Mede stressed that the 2024 budget has already been enacted into law. He further said that anyone contesting this is wasting both time and money.
So I think they are wasting their effort and their time by targeting the budget. The budget of Rivers State is sacrosanct. It has been passed into law. And so no other law in this country, not even the Supreme Court, can nullify a law that the governor has signed into law. And so they are wasting their time. We are not concerned about them. They are in dreamland. What we are doing now is to continue to do our 2025 budget because we are finished with 2024. What we are doing with 2024 now is to implement it and deliver value to Rivers people.
The Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning also said that the auto-destruct syringe factory at Rumusi, Songhai Farms, and other farms inherited by the current administration have ownership issues that need to be resolved.
When you talk about the steel industry was what the previous administration put in, and there are some conditions under which those industries were put in, either PPP or build, own, and operate, or build, operate, and transfer. Some of those ownership structure need to be dealt with by government, and that's why it looks as if it is slow. But His Excellency is actually not slow. He's going down to earth to deal with those problems. The Songhai farm and all that, all those farm has ownership structure that needs to be dealt with.
Well, you recall that the auto-destruct syringe factory was set up by the administration of former Governor Peter Odili and began production in 2009. It was later expanded by the state government under the former Governor Chibuike Amechi to hit a target of producing 1.3 billion syringes per year. In 2018, the State Executive Council approved the setting up of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to investigate the alleged 36 billion naira fraud spent by the Chibuike on the factory. Meanwhile, Rivers State now has 3 confirmed cases of Mpox. This is according to the Mpox situation report obtained today from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The report said Mpox has spread to 25 states and the Federal Capital Territory across 63 local government areas in the country. The report said 94 confirmed cases have been reported out of the 1,297 suspected cases recorded so far from January 1st to October 6th, 2024. It also added that 47 new suspected cases were reported in Epidemiology Week 40, compared with 67 cases reported in Week 39. Well, stay tuned. We'll be back after this brief message. the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has agreed to sell petrol to members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria at 995 naira per litre. It followed the intervention of the Department of State Services in the controversy between the two parties. The National Vice President of IPMAN, Ahmed Fashola, said the intervention of the DSS solved a lot of problems facing marketers. Mr. Fashola also confirmed that through their intervention, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority agreed to pay the associations a standing 10 billion naira while resolving issues about the direct purchase of petrol from Dangote Refinery. Meanwhile, a cooking gas retailer in Port Harcourt, Felix Matthew, is attributing the rise in the cost of cooking gas to an increase in transportation fares. Mr. Matthew tells our correspondent that drivers who transport gas from plants to retailers have raised their fares due to the recent increase in petrol prices.
Because in terms of gas, we have been buying 450 naira, 600 naira per kilo. Now it's 1,400. Some places are selling 1,500. Some people are selling 1,350. Those that can be able to buy like full 12 kg, they are now managing 4 kg. So it's affecting a lot. My cost of transportation is the major thing because when driver they check the status of their fuel, what they bought, they will now charge you according to what they are buying for. So it's affecting the revenue that I'm supposed to have. It's affecting. At least I run out nothing after everything.
Our correspondent who visited a gas plant in Rumusi Axis gathered that a kilogram of cooking gas was sold for 1,200 naira, but retailers sell for 1,500 naira. This follows reports of cooking gas prices reaching 1,500 naira per kilogram in Lagos and Abuja. Also, some food vendors have expressed concern that a drop in customer patronage, even as the cost of cooking gas continues to rise. They said that people no longer buy food like before as they cannot afford it. Others said that they had to reduce the food portions to keep the business afloat.
I fee 1,400 now, 1,500 for 1 kg. I do the expensive. Before, they fee 1,000, 1,100.
Yeah, sometimes, the price when they come where we are selling before and now it's not the same. So some of them will now buy, some will say, just give me only rice.
Now, occasionally now, not everybody feel buy food now. Like now, they say a plate of food, now 1,000 plate for 200 naira meat. Nothing there inside now.
Reduce the part so that we will see maintenance. When I try to create this right now, we will see the customer will be low. So what we do normally, instead of the 250 again, we do 250. So that we make that.
Yes, I know many people that have stopped selling because of this price, because of the bag of rice, the economy top again.
Well, still to come, PDP governors broker truce, ask all parties to revert to status quo. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to the news. If you just joined us, my name is Jude Omamigbe. We'll continue our stories now. The chairman of Achie local government area, Uzodinma Nwafor, has approved the appointment of new aides. Dr. Nwafor, in a statement, said Jude C. Njoku is now chief of staff. Ogbonna Walobilo is secretary to Achie government area. Chinedu Unyechi as acting chief security advisor, CSO. Ben Chuks Okere as executive assistant, Philip Amadi as personal assistant, Prince Oke Nodim as chief protocol 1, Obina Njoku revenue chairman, Chukwuemeka Njoku as revenue secretary, and Emmanuel Wokoba as senior special assistant on special duties. Others are Dr. Martina Wanyawu as chairman of the legal team and Samuel Weke as secretary. Friday, Nwankwo was appointed as special assistant on legal matters and Nnaji Endurance for youth affairs. Oluwa Robinson was also appointed as chief press secretary. Now, in another development, the PDP Governors Forum has reportedly instructed feuding members of the party to revert to the status quo. The report by the Vanguard newspaper said the chairman of the forum, who is also Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, issued the directive after a meeting of the governors which ended early this morning. According to the report, Governor Mohammed said as a political party, the PDP was bound to have disputes among members, but that those challenges can always be resolved. He also said that all suspensions have been nullified.
And now the business news.
And now to the world of business. The IMF says global public debt is expected to reach a record of $100 trillion this year, warning that the fiscal outlook for many countries may have been worse than expected. In its latest report on fiscal policy, the International Monetary Fund said it expects global public debt to hit 93% of gross domestic product (GDP) this year and to approach 100% of GDP by 2030. In entertainment, singer Oxlade says Ghana has shown him more love than Nigeria. On X, he claimed there were attempts to undermine him in Nigeria. In sports, the pilot who flew the Nigerian team has shed more light on the controversy in the wake of the crisis between Nigerian authorities and Libya over the ill treatment meted out to the Super Eagles. In a video interview posted on X by sports journalist Pooja Media today, the pilot said the decision to divert the flight conveying the Super Eagles team was not made at his discretion but came from Libyan authorities. He said the flight plan was to land at Benghazi, Benin, and he had the approval from the Libya Civil Aviation Authority, to do so. But when they began their descent, they instructed us to divert to Al Abrak, which is almost 150 miles away. And finally, from the international scene, the government says it is allowing some eligible Afghan Special Forces soldiers who fought alongside the British military to resettle in the UK after they were previously rejected. Under the previous government, about 2,000 Afghans who served with specialist units were denied permission to relocate to the UK after the Taliban takeover in 2021. Armed Forces Minister Luke Pollard told the House of Commons a review has found some applications were wrongly turned down. Now, that's the news this afternoon. Before we depart, a quick recap. The Rivers Commissioner for Budget says 2025 budget will tackle unemployment amid inflation. An expert has raised concern over the level of vandalism at the Rivers Syringe Factory. PDP governors have reportedly brokered truce and has asked all parties to revert to status quo. A pilot says Libyan authorities diverted the Super Eagles flight last minute. And on the foreign scene, hundreds of Afghan soldiers have been allowed to relocate to the UK. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808 721 7215. 0808-721-7215. My name is Jude Omamigbi. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and have yourself a wonderful day. The sunny side of conversations come up your way. Do enjoy.